This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's the week of June 26, 2020, and it's the Relevant Podcast. From Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang. And before I introduce the cast, I want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by the Adventist Development and Relief Agency. Without education, nothing changes. But when a child completes his or her education, a whole new world of opportunity opens up. Not only that, when you educate a child, you also change the life of a family, a community, and future generations. That's why the Adventist Development and Relief Agency launched their Every Child Everywhere in School campaign. There's no better time than now to get involved. Visit adra.org/sign-up to see how you can help. ADRA, serving humanity so all may live as God intended. Well, like I said, I'm your host, Cameron, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author and podcaster Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, artist and producer Derek Miner.
What up, though?
I think I should augment yours. Artist, producer, entrepreneur, advocate. I mean, you've got like a long list of things. You're a very busy man.
Hey, Derek, if you had to distill your title into one noun, what would it be? I'll give you one adjective, one noun. So
one adjective, one noun.
Acclaimed artist.
Robust humanitarian.
So for me, it would be like incredibly physiqued. Jesse Carey. I think that's two adjectives, but
it definitely is.
Yeah. Either way, I'll bend the rules. For parts of speech.
I don't know, man. Argumentative rapper, dog. I don't know.
There you go. I like it. That works.
I like arguing with people.
Jamie, you are a wordsmith. You are a widely read writer and author. What's your adjective and noun?
For myself,
Jesus lover, Jamie Ivey.
Oh, that sounds like that would be in someone's Instagram handle.
Cameron, you went with
Daughter of the King.
In his service.
Daughter of the King.
We did. One time back in the day, we did a listicle on relevantmagazine.com.
Which is an article that's a list. It sounds dirty, but it's not. It's a list article.
It's an article that you're meant to read while waiting in line at the grocery store.
It sounds like you need penicillin.
Yeah, it's an article for people whose attention span online is about 15 to 25 seconds according to our data. Anyway, but the listicle was we had people send us what is the greatest email signature line they've seen from
Christian email signatures.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, great, I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for the meeting. Insert a daughter in his service, Jamie, or right. Yeah. But the best one was hey, I'll meet you at where we talked about under Aslan's paw. Rob. There was one that was under Aslan's paw. If you're conducting business, I don't care if they're in ministry or whatever. If you're conducting business with someone whose email signature is under Aslan's paw, it's a huge red flag. There are going to be complications in that business.
You gotta go.
100%.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, one of our favorite couples and groups, Johnnyswim, joins us. Abner and Amanda from Johnnyswim. They're going to talk to us about their quarantine project they've been doing on Instagram, Songs with Strangers. They're also going to tell us about their upcoming show on the new TV network being launched by Chip and Joanna Gaines, the Magnolia Channel, and maybe a little bit of an exclusive of a new and previously unannounced TV show that they're going to be debuting as well.
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I haven't heard the interview.
Right.
It's about cooking.
Well, why are you spoiler alerting everybody?
I love it.
Listen, I follow them on Instagram and I see them. They're making homemade pasta all the time. I'm like, what are they doing? This is amazing.
They're in the kitchen a lot. Yep. There's a reason.
I will watch them cook anything.
Yep. So they're coming up later. We also have a very robust hot list today. There's a lot happening this week.
Go ahead. Oh, hold on. There's a really good one here. Yours because he's his.
Oh,
so
no.
and so. Yes.
No.
Stop.
You just looked it up.
Stop.
Yours because he's it. I like that.
Yeah. That's how she's going to sign end her new book. Like just at the last page.
Because he's his.
That's how she's going to sign them now in the book signings.
In the books, yes. No, I think it's going to say under Aslan's paws and then draw a little paw sign,
I went one time, Jamie and Derek, signing autographs for fans is nothing new to you, but it's a very rare thing that anyone asked me to sign anything. In fact, one of the only times I've done it in mass was years and years ago when we were giving away for I can't even remember what it was, but we had these dumb posters. Yeah, we had posters made at Sears Portrait Studio.
No, so we literally, the four podcasters, it was Kara Davis, Adam Smith, Jesse, and myself. We went and dressed in basically like Royal Tenenbaums type outfits and went to the Sears Portrait Studio and did family portraits.
Of course you did.
Jesse had a tennis racket. I had an ascot and a pipe and a hat, like a fedora. I mean, like a tweed jacket. Like it was dead on. It was great. We printed them up as posters, and then we did it as a subscription promotion, Jesse. Like if you subscribe to Relevant Magazine, you would get one of these podcast posters, whether you wanted it or not. And we signed it. We signed all of them.
I want one.
We made those valueless posters even more valueless by signing them for people. They didn't ask us to sign them. We just did.
Nope.
But I got bored halfway through, and I've received enough, things from high profile Christians over the years, whether I asked for them or not. And a lot of times what it would be is it's their autograph, it's their signature, but they're also with like a Bible, like an inspirational Bible verse. At first I just started randomly writing Bible verses with every one of my signatures, not even looking at it, not even caring. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm going all in. It's going to be a random. I'm going to write Song of Solomon and just 3 numbers under my name for everyone. And they're going to be 3 different numbers. I don't know who received them. I don't know if they reference the verses, but I felt like that's a good go-to book if you're signing autographs.
I just kept writing, never stop dreaming, Cameron. That's what I wrote. So, okay, but hold on. So let me finish. So we have a great, robust hot list. Tyler's joining us in a few minutes. And then at the end of the show, stay tuned because we finally have all of your prank feedback.
Yeah. And I was trying to... And Cameron challenged me to bring a couple prank items to the table. And guys, I've been doing some soul searching after thinking about a lot of the pranks I pulled. I don't think I would do them again. They were pretty messed up. They were pretty mean spirited. Like they were some involved like low key vandalism. Some were just weird. Like we planted a tree in a stranger's. We planted a tree in a stranger's front yard one night. So when they woke up, there was a tree planted in their front yard. We didn't even wait for morning for them to come out and just see the tree. We're just like, hey, what's that person going to think when there's a tree planted in their front yard? Like I like stuff, but I'm like, I don't think I would do that again. It's pretty weird and messed up. Someone sent me a video the other day. I can't remember what platform, but someone reached out and sent me a video, and it is of a prank of someone in a grocery store. There's one person filming, right? Like with their cell phone camera, and then they have an accomplice. The accomplice would go and take a picture, like let's say some guy just browsing the cereal aisle. So one guy would sneak in and take a Polaroid picture of the person, right? Like kind of low key. Okay. And while the person is browsing, they would, it was like with pickpocket skills. The guy would kind of lean in and put the Polaroid into the person's pocket, right? No. So later, when that person goes home and opens their pocket, there's a Polaroid of them standing in the grocery store. It is a brilliant.
Call the police.
It is so good, and they will never forget that.
And say what?
I would be so scared. That's what we see that happens on, I guarantee that's happened on Law & Order SVU. And they had to call Stabler and all the people, and they had to come in, and they're like, there is some man walking around taking pictures of girls in the grocery store and then putting them in their thing. And this is what happens.
Listen.
Derek, you've seen the episode. I know you have.
Hey, so I thought of what I want to pull off, and I haven't really thought about the moral consequences.
Wait, this is you as a full-on adult now currently want to pull off what you're about to tell us. Okay.
And it's probably on a lot. The more layers of this onion you peel back, the stinkier this one gets. But I want to stage a rapture at a very conservative Bible college.
I want to have one that you could choose, a college you could go to.
Bob Jones University, one of those like fundamentalist Pensacola Christian College
that have a very literal. And I'm not making any commentary about. I'm just saying that there are schools that maintain a very literal interpretation.
The schools that have separate sidewalks for boys and girls, and they have like courtship parlors where they have chaperone time to communicate with each other, but they can't go on dates off campus, things like that. That kind of a school.
The type of schools that like have a literal interpretation of the Book of Revelation that basically look at the Left Behind movies as a documentary, as a foretelling, as like a, you know what I mean? Like that is. So I want to go there and I want to find like a wing on the campus and find out who on this wing would be the most susceptible to believing that they've been left behind. And I would conspire with all the other people on the floor, and I would tell them like, listen, as an older Christian, I think this is basically a Christian scared straight here. That person needs a wake-up call in their lifestyle. They were walking on the girls' side of the sidewalk the other day. They need a wake-up call here. I saw him with his shirt untucked in the cafeteria. He's on a slippery slope, right into Satan's clutches. You know, he watched a TVMA series I heard on Netflix. He needs a wake-up call. Okay, yeah. I heard he dabbled in Game of Thrones, the books. And so if there's anything we can do to save this young soul, we will stage a rapture. And I just feel like it would give me a lot of satisfaction at this point in my life to see someone think that they've actually been left behind.
Oh my gosh. You have to bring Kirk Cameron in too.
Black.
Deal.
That's just, as long as you make Jesus black, that'll set that off the
in your version of the stage rapture, the man Jesus appears and then everybody vanishes.
He's the one. He's the one who's
up.
That Jesus is the one in this scenario who plays the Ashton Kutcher role. That comes out and like, you got punked. You come out, guys. Come on out. I'm not really Jesus.
I was envisioning just a whole bunch of like clothes left around the dorms, empty cars that were left on in the park. Like I thought you were just meaning everybody would vanish.
Everybody vanishes, pile of clothes everywhere, and then I come in with a wig wrapped in glow sticks. That's literally what happens.
And then you tell
everyone else you got left behind.
Then at the final, it's like, you know what? I'm just kidding. I'm not actually Jesus. I'm argumentative rapper Derek Minor. Nice to meet you. Come on out, gang. Now let me ask you this: are you burning those Harry Potter books you got in your dorm? Because
you learned your
what else do I need to do to get your attention?
Oh man! All right, moving the show along. It is time for our very own Tyler Huckabee to join us. He's our senior editor at Relevant and overseeing all of our content that we're putting out every day, covering the intersection of faith and culture. We normally play a jingle and have the hot list and entertainment, all that kind of stuff. This isn't the time. There's a lot going on this week, and Tyler's here to tell us about it. Welcome, Tyler.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so what's going on?
Oh, man.
We just been a slow news couple weeks here, guys.
Yeah, slow news. I had to really dig. I was crawling up and down FARC looking for some good stories to bring. There is a lot to talk about today, and the first thing that I want to talk about is a little bit of it's a little bit of a complicated issue. It's going to take some nuance, which is why I'm bringing it to you guys, because there was a lot that was being said about this yesterday that I think was sort of incorrect or misinformed, and hopefully we can try to set the record a little bit straight here. Did you guys see this conversation about Jesus statues taking place over the week? The statues of Jesus.
Oh, that's ringing a bell. Conservative Christians were saying they're taking down all the statues. Next, they're going to come after Jesus, and then actually some people were advocating for taking down representations of white Jesus, which obviously is ethnically incorrect. So so Twitter was kind of blowing up earlier this week about all this.
Yeah, that's sort of let's break this down a little bit, because it happened quickly, and it was sort of a twisty tale. And obviously we've been talking the last couple of weeks about the movement to pull down Confederate monuments. The Confederate flag was banned at NASCAR. There's been sort of this reckoning with representations of the Confederacy, of slave owners in culture. This has led to some we'll say some bedwetting on the part of certain pundits who are warning that this is a slippery slope. If you start pulling down Confederate statues, where do you stop? And this includes a guy by the name of Matt Schlapp. He's a pundit. He's a prominent figure at CPAC, and he took to Twitter to say, "Statues of Jesus are next. It won't end. Pray for the USA." So right there, it's not even that, it's not a super clever sleight of hand that's being pulled here. Like Jesus was not a Confederate soldier. Jesus did not own slaves.
What? Are
There's
you sure?
there's no.
Hold on, wait. I'm confused. What happened?
He did. There's no reason that this movement would like. What sort of narrative are we putting together here that would involve statues of Jesus as part of this like statue removal thing? But this point was taken up by Sean King. Now, Sean King is an activist. He is a writer. He has become sort of notorious for some ill-advised business deals. He's done
and he has some pretty cool nicknames too. Talcum X. You know what I'm saying?
Talcum X. Oh, jeez.
Martin Luther Cream.
No. Yeah, he has some pretty cool nicknames. Hey, look, my guy Dave Dennis kills him, man.
Sean's sort of an interesting character. You've probably seen him around. He's actually done in fairness to him, in his defense, he has done a lot to raise the profile of certain acts of police injustice. That's been part of his legacy.
Several of the stories in the last 2 months would not have broken had he not advocated for them. So while he's got a lot of gray areas around the margins, we can say he really actually has moved it. He was the first one to say the name Breonna Taylor. Ahmaud Arbery was him. He broke Ahmaud Arbery.
Even back all the way with people like Trayvon, Tamir Rice. He's definitely been on this for a long time. But that has also come with some sort of some business deals, some financial things. He's found himself in hot water repeatedly throughout the course of all this. So it's just he's a little bit complicated. That's a little bit beyond the purview of this particular story. But he did say, he responded to this and said, yes, I think the statues of the white European they claim is Jesus should come down. They're a form of white supremacy, always have been. And the Bible and the family of Jesus wanted to hide and blend in. Guess where they went? Egypt, not Denmark. Tear them down. And so this got picked up by a lot of more bedwetters, people who were like, see, now they, just like we predicted, now we told you, now they're coming for statues of Jesus, just like they said, which obviously isn't really what Sean King meant. He was talking about a very specific subset of statues of Jesus that have, in fairness, done a lot of harm over the years, and that have been used as a tool of colonialism, of oppression, as a way to subjugate people spiritually as well as physically. So I think there is a healthy conversation there, an important conversation to be had about these depictions of Jesus we have that are really harmful and that present Jesus, the idea of white Christianity as normative compared to other depictions of Jesus, including the actual one, which was that he was a Middle Eastern man. Now, whether or not that's really part of the Confederate, whether or not you can say that is a subject that we need to involve in the current debate around the Confederacy, that's a whole nother issue that feels like a very separate issue to me, like two different conversations, both important, not related.
But you can say, if you look back at a lot of the white supremacy movement in the South, especially, they hid behind the cross. They used their religion as their rationale for racism. And so there is a distorted version of Christianity that should be dismantled.
No, the Ku Klux Klan says that they are not a hate group. They are a Christian organization. That's a prime example of people who have gentrified Jesus. That's what it is, dog. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say.
Derek, what do you think about this debate, though, about the depictions of Jesus? I've always thought that the blue-eyed, fair-skinned portrait from the Renaissance era felt completely weird to me. I just common sense, ethnically, a brown-skinned Middle Eastern man is probably what Jesus looked like. But what do you think about this debate that's going on?
I'm kind of indifferent on it. I'm gonna keep it honest. Like I feel like obviously we should all know this. Anyone that studied history should know what Jesus would probably look like, and he probably did not look like Patrick Swayze. We just know that,
right?
But I guess at the end of the day, man, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. I don't see Surfer Jesus and feel like, oh man, I'm like, man, why would they make him look like Patrick Swayze? It's frustrating in that sense, but it's not, hey, this guy enslaved 400 people and fought, like, you know, he's not Robert E. Lee. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess that's my thing. It's like, if we're gonna put our energy on something, let's just put it on let's just put it on the Confederate soldiers. But I think this whole thing is something to try to delegitimize the protesters. It's like they're just some wild, savage monsters who want to tear down everything that America has to offer and communism, and they just want to tear Jesus down. Like, I just literally saw a guy say that this is going to start a war, tearing down Jesus. I'm like, well, Sean King never said protesters go start vandalizing churches, because that's the narrative now, is that churches are going to be vandalized and people are going to start doing these things. And it's like, he never said that. Like, it's just, he just said, hey, while you're tearing while we're tearing down Confederate monuments, let's tear down the fake interpretation of Jesus. And it's like, in my mind, I'm like, well, if the pastors know, hopefully pastors are smart enough and have read the Bible enough to know that Jesus would have been a Middle Eastern, North African man. So surely you'd say, hey, I don't want this fake version of Jesus in my church. But if you like Patrick Swayze Jesus, bro, like, I ain't mad at you at all. Do you think?
Well, I can't take credit. I think I saw it on Reddit or somebody replying to one of these tweets and was like, hey, 4chan. You know who? Yeah, exactly. but it was something along the lines of, hey, you know who probably isn't that cool with statues of Jesus? Jesus. Like, I missed the part where it said to spend time, money, and resources on large ornamental statues of our interpretation of his appearance. Where is that in the Bible again? Oh, it's right next to the line where he says, hey, make sure you put my name on all your money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure he's more concerned about other things. And actually, there is a biblical precedent for God not wanting physical representations of him to be something that when they're done, they are done under his command, like something like the Ark of the Covenant, which had, actual spiritual purposes, or like, Solomon's temple or something that have, a spiritual dynamic in addition to like an ornamental one, right? But anytime there's an ornamental representation of a deity in the Bible, be that a deity that God's people have created in the image of God, like the Israelites created a bronze calf because, in their mind, God was all about wealth and fertility, right? So a bronze calf. And when they elevate that image of God, God was pretty mad. You know what I mean? And there were real consequences for it. And so, maybe we still worship wealth in this country. We still put his name on our money, but we don't necessarily it's not God and fertility anymore. It's money and fame. So what we've done is we've put his name on our money because we believe it will give us wealth. And we created statues of him looking like a movie star and made his appearance very famous and his teachings ignored, because those are the two idols that we have is fame and money. Sorry, this is a rant, but I do think, who cares? Like, Jesus is like, is this what you guys are arguing over, man? Like, last time I checked, poverty is still an issue here. Like, there are bigger fish to fry. A
lot of the Black Christian leaders that I've been following have kind of just said, like, hey, this is this call to action, this advocation is a distraction from the issues we need to be focusing on. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, this isn't the time. Is kind of what I'm hearing. I'm not, an African American, so I don't know, but like I kind of see that line of thinking that it's why are we distracted?
Y'all said African Americans aren't screaming, yeah, tear down white Jesus. Like, I haven't seen the tear down white Jesus movement from out of the African American community. But what I have seen as a response two people saying, hey, they're going to tear down our pictures of Jesus. And then black people like, well, he wasn't white in the first place. So yeah, tear it down too. Like it's kind of more of that as opposed to, and when we're done with Robert E. Lee, we're coming for Jesus. Like it's like you just don't really see that. You know what I mean?
There is like a lot of historical precedent for people doing really beautiful artistic depictions of Jesus in their own culture.
Sure.
You see that in China, you see that in Zimbabwe, you see it in Japan, you see it among indigenous people here in America. And I think that there is like artistic value to doing that. There is obviously a difference with white Jesus where it stopped being an artistic creative interpretation and became an actual tool of conquest. And so there would need to be a little, I think, some contextualization around that period, which is ongoing part of church history. But I don't think that it's necessarily bad to retell the story of Jesus in a way that's more personal for your as long as there's an understanding that there's like creative license being used here, which most cultures understand, and that has not always been very well communicated in Europe and in America.
Jamie, I'm interested. You live in Austin. You're a lifelong Texan, and I guess this applies for a lot of places.
But you have to use an adjective and a noun. COVID hotbed, Austin.
Well, coming from the person in Florida. I feel like this applies to a lot. Maybe this is just conjecture, but like, when I think of Texas, I do think of things like Remember the Alamo and like Sam Houston. And if you visit, Austin, there are these very striking symbols of it. Even like the bell tower is like this kind of beacon of like education. And they're right there in Austin. What's your take on kind of Christians and statues of Christ?
Well, I thought it was interesting when even Cameron said the same thing. Y'all both said, if anyone is like educated and reads the Bible, they would know that Jesus was not white. And I just find a little bit of pushback with that because that was never taught to me growing up in church. Like I had to come to that realization, and not because I never stopped and thought about it because I'm white and it didn't have to bother me. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that would fall under that whole thing of I had the privilege of not having to question whether the material that I got for VBS looked like Jesus or not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it was your fault. I would say it's your pastor's fault. Like if your pastor's not finding cultural context in the scriptures, he shouldn't be teaching. That's my personal perspective.
And I agree with it 100%. My point in saying that is there are a lot of people that they're hearing this conversation and going, oh, I've never even thought that Jesus might not look like the way I've seen him represented. And it's because they're white and they never have to think about the context because he just looks like they look. And so this conversation about like, go tear down all the statues of Jesus. I agree that I think that we have some I want to be careful with my words here, not bigger issues, but we have like a lot of good things happening right now that I would hate to see halted because it kind of got off track a little bit. Do I think that we need a better representation of Jesus within our churches? 100%.
Yes.
But I think right now I'm enjoying the conversation I'm seeing about taking down statues that represent so much hatred in our country that it feels like this could be a little like detour, and then it would give, some people another reason to be angry. Like, oh, now, like you said, next thing we know, they're coming and burning down our churches. And that's just not an accurate statement either.
We're in an interesting moment in the movement in that Tyler and I talk about this when we're planning editorial and talking to our contributors and stuff at Relevant. It's like we're at a moment where the last month or 6 weeks, 2 months has been a very visceral reaction to very blatant injustice, right? And voices are being heard and change is starting to happen. And we're covering that and we're giving platform to that. That's important. There's also a tension point right now where we're pivoting toward long-term. Like, what are we going to be talking about long-term? Not just advocating for immediate short-term changes, but what are we as a society and as a church? What do we want to look like a year, 5 years, 10 years from now? Like, where are we going? Right. And so let's start advocating for that as well. So to me, there's like this immediate conversation, and also let's lift up our eyes and look at the horizon and talk about the big picture. So let's talk about the Jesus thing. So Jamie, you're talking about like your church never showed you a non-white Jesus. So, okay, church, let's acknowledge that ethnic, accuracy is actually an important part of teaching our faith to ourselves and our next generation, all that stuff. And let's create resources that show an ethnically accurate Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like that is part of the long-term solution for the church, but that is not the urgent and immediate need right now. It's but it is a both and. It's not an either or in my mind. So,
and I've seen a lot of change since, I mean, I'm 41. And so grew up in the church, a lot of years ago. I know, right? But I've seen all that to say, I have seen change in some publications that are getting put out, like even with kids' book material, like where they portray Jesus as having brown skin instead of white skin. And I think the reason this is so difficult is because there are a lot of people in our country that would look and say, like, America is God's country. Like, we are his people. He will protect us. We are the chosen people of the Lord, which is like, and we're founded on Christian principles and all those things. And all of that together with white
the church
Jesus
is thriving in the Far East and in Africa and in Latin America, and not in America. It's declining.
And they're not having these conversations around the world. If you visit churches around the world, you know what they're having conversations about? How do I stay alive today? Because I have chosen to follow Jesus.
That's right. You will be persecuted. You're not
exactly.
Gonna be,
And here in America, we're like, oh my gosh, someone's making me wear a mask, or I can't believe this, or they want to take out Robert E. Lee. Do you know how long our school's been named that? That's the arguments that are happening here. And they're ludicrous when you think about what the church is dealing with around the world.
The other aspect too, I feel like is like, I feel like these are conversations that are interesting, not just, in the context of current social events, but are just interesting thought exercises and intellectual exercises for Christians to think about. But I think a real problem we have in the kind of the current era of technology is the sort of emotional equivalency that is assigned to these type of issues. So like when you see the passion of someone who is fighting for racial injustice and actual tangible changes, all of a sudden someone who is like maybe in this case, a conservative Christian who is the idea of taking down their Jesus statue rubs them the wrong way. They feel like they have to match the emotional intensity of someone who's protesting for real change. And so all of a sudden, instead of there being any kind of nuance to these discussions, instead of, hey, the emotion that should be cranked up to 10 on some of these social issues, and we should get heated and there should be passion and there should be protests for, all of a sudden everyone's like, well, for my pet issue, I have to match that degree of emotion and all that, but that's intellectually dishonest because, for someone who's fighting systemic injustice that just watched a person, a black man, an unarmed black man be smothered to death for 8 minutes on the internet, for them to think I have to match the same outrage that I have for that because, they're going to tear my Jesus statue down. Someone talked about tearing my Jesus statue. It totally conflates the issues to the same level of outrage. And that's not fair to the issues that are actually outrageous.
And it's what happens when we demonize each other, right? So like what I see is now this level of dehumanization of each side. So like I saw Donald Trump, I don't know why in the world I responded under that man's tweet. I got the most weirdest things in the world. But
it's a rookie mistake.
It was a rookie mistake.
Don't do that.
For sure. But I saw him tweet this video that this guy tweeted about. He said, why aren't there any protests? And it was this black man beating this white guy down. And it's like he Slick tried to make it seem like a protester was beating a white guy down in a Macy's. And it's like, that's not a protester. That guy's not protesting anything inside of a Macy's. But what's happening is now we've got this polarized, dehumanizing thing where it's like, let me find the most extreme thing and say, let me find my point with that. So I think we're just in this hot time, and it has to calm down, and we have to get to a point where we're saying, okay, let me hear you out and let's talk and let's meet in the middle, as opposed to going further and further apart. It would help if our leader, commander-in-chief, was trying to do that, but it just makes it just worse and worse the more that you drive a wedge between people.
We've got a sort of a related, this is like, I'd say a follow-up to a story we did last week that is related to the story we just talked about here. And it's about Tina Fey over at 30 Rock. So like we said, 30 Rock is gearing up for a one episode return in July that will coincide with the entire series launch on Peacock, which will be their new streaming service. But not every episode is going to be included. Tina Fey sent a note to streaming platforms apologizing for multiple instances of blackface that appeared on 30 Rock, 2 of which involved series regular Jane Krakowski's character, Jenna. She wrote an apology note. She said, "As we strive to do the work and do better in regards to race in America, we believe that these episodes featuring actors in race-changing makeup are best taken out of circulation. I understand now that intent is not a free pass for white people to use these images. I apologize for pain they have caused. Going forward, no comedy-loving kid needs to stumble on those tropes and be stung by their ugliness. I thank NBC for honoring this request."
When Tyler told me he wanted to bring this, there was two thoughts I had. Number one, we aren't out. Relevant isn't out there to cover all the negative news. Like if somebody has a scandal or something like that, we don't cover all of it, right? But we do have a policy that if we have given our platform to somebody and something comes out about them that would maybe change your perspective of their message or their story, we owe it to our readers to show both, right? So we're not trying to like tear down, put people on pedestals and then tear them down, but sometimes it's necessary. Last week on the show, I was advocating, Derek, you got to watch 30 Rock. And then this week, they're like, "Oh, we need to pull 4 episodes." And I thought it was important that we tell our podcast listeners the full story. Okay, number one. And number two, I thought there was a part of her statement that was really important. If I've seen those episodes and I remember them now that, once they came and hit the news, I remembered seeing them. What they were trying to do was show the farce and ludicrousness of those tropes. They were not advocating for blackface. They were trying to show how offensive this was, almost using like an extreme example.
You're supposed to laugh at
ridiculous and offensive.
How horrible this is, right? You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was important what she said. As a white person, it doesn't matter what our intent was, right? And I think that's what our culture is learning right now. And I think, and I'm proud of them for stepping up and saying, you know what? Actually, even though our intent was one thing, it's not okay. And so like, I good for them for pulling it, so, anyway, that's why we wanted to bring that update. Because literally last week we were saying, yay, 30 Rock,
Now I'm going to go watch 30 Rock.
Well, you ain't going to see those 4 episodes. They're gone.
I think that's wise though. I think it's better safe than sorry. Like in these times right now, I think that's wise. I mean, considering people in that way for sure.
Yeah,
and I think what's interesting that Tina Fey did here that somebody like, say, Jimmy Kimmel did not do this week was she brought it up first. She didn't wait for the internet to cancel her and say, what about these? And it would have happened probably. But and this is, I think, a good lesson for white people who maybe are looking back at like, ooh, I hope those photos never pop up. Like take initiative, be the one to apologize in advance
wrongdoing
and admit that you were wrong. And that way you're at least showing some ownership for what happened instead of just trying to save face.
Yeah.
This last thing is a little interesting, and it's not something I really would have expected, but it's a study that came up from our friend Ryan Burge. He's a professor who's made it his goal to really study Christianity in America and publishes a lot of really helpful, I recommend following him on Twitter, a lot of really helpful data that he puts together. And he found a few things about how white Christians are reacting to the COVID-19 pandemic and are calming down a lot faster than the public at large than COVID-19. So, according to his analysis of a Data for Progress survey, white evangelicals under 35 years old, so younger white evangelicals, are 13% less likely to wear a mask in public than those under 35 in the general population. 58% of white evangelicals under 35 say they wear a mask compared to 72%, of their peers. And that's changed. Back in April, white evangelicals had about the same level of concern about COVID-19 as the population in general did. It was about the same. But over time, over the past few months, white evangelicals have gotten more comfortable faster with ceasing to observe social distancing and mask wearing guidelines than most people have. There's been a little bit of a decline across the board, but white evangelicals are definitely driving it to a degree that the general population is. And that's especially interesting because, as I'm sure most of us know, COVID-19 is not continuing to go down in most parts of the country. We're
Tyler,
seeing it. Secondly,
you're missing something here. I saw a video on Twitter that informed me that evangelical churches have special ion technology that zaps coronavirus from the air and makes it safe for the president to come. Tyler, it makes it safe for the president. It's air ionization. It's science. They invented it. Christians invented it. No wonder we don't need the mask. We have magic machines, dude.
If you don't know what Jesse's talking about, this was an item that Tyler was going to bring, but it got bumped. But earlier in the week, President Trump had a rally in Arizona at a megachurch. It was a 3,000 seat megachurch, and the pastor, in an attempt to assure everybody it was safe to come to the Trump rally at their church, did a video on the internet talking about how a member of the church had invented a technology for their AC filtering system that would kill 99.9% of the COVID virus in 10 minutes. So please come to the Trump rally because our church members have cured COVID, essentially.
Who needs mask? Who needs mask? We have a machine. And if you are asking for details, too bad, so sad, because it is patented. This is sharper image level tech we're talking, okay?
But it's only at their church.
Only at their church.
Only at their church.
For now. We'll see.
For now.
If your church has a statue of Jesus that looks like Patrick Swayze, then
they'll
they're likely have already ordered one of these as well.
Yeah.
So
It might just turn up at every rally that President Trump goes to. They might have this new AC filter system.
I thought it was amazing that a member of their church had invented a cure for COVID for their AC system.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
couldn't you combine? You could combine the white Jesus statue. You can combine the white Jesus statue with the ionization thing, so like the eyes light up, maybe.
And he's just zapping. It's like a bug zapper. You see,
Oh yeah,
see that? He just got some COVID right out of there. Just zapped it up. Just have lasers zapping him out of there.
That's amazing, yo.
Okay, well, stay tuned. Up next, Johnnyswim joins us.
So let's burn the bridges down. Let's burn the bridges down. Light them up, no turning around. No escape through the ashes now. Let's burn the bridges down. Let's burn the bridges down. Light them up, no turning around. No escape through the ashes now. Let's burn the bridges down. Burn the bridges down.
You're listening to our next guest, Johnnyswim, with the song Bridges. Well, today's episode is also brought to you by the all-new podcast on the Relevant Podcast Network, the American Awakening Podcast. We are better together, made for purpose, meaning, and significance in community as friends, not enemies. With a diverse crew of contributors, the American Awakening Podcast leans into this challenging American moment with life, light, and music. We know these are hard times, but faith, hope, and love can never be extinguished. Marissa Prince, John Kingston, Calvin Lee, Jefferson Bethke, Joel Searby, Dan Hasseltine, and guests explore the headlines through the lens of faith, offering unique perspectives on what's really happening in God's kingdom. Join us in slaying the giants of death, despair, and division, and be part of a new American awakening. The American Awakening Podcast comes out every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Man, they're ambitious, and is available wherever you get your podcasts. Go check it out, American Awakening Podcast. Well, our guest this week graced the cover of Relevant Magazine a couple years ago, Johnnyswim. They're an amazing folk, soul, pop duo made up of husband and wife Amanda Sudano and Abner Ramirez. They've been creating music since 2005, and you probably know them for their hit single Home, which happens to be the theme song to the HGTV show Fixer Upper, which I still watch. Most recently, during quarantine, they've been doing a special project called Songs with Strangers. And Tyler sat down with them to talk about that and much more. Here is our conversation with Johnnyswim.
I sure don't want you back. We ain't no perfect match, but sometimes I imagine you here. Oh, we laugh until we shout, then we try to get renowned. It's those little things that I hold dear. I made them my souvenir.
So of all the different, let's say quarantine projects that I've heard people picked up, maybe nothing has been quite as interesting as the one that you all tried to do, and I think we're very successful at, with Songs with Strangers. So tell us about it.
Songs with Strangers. What if we got on Instagram Live and selected a person completely at random, wrote a song with them, and recorded that song and released it that night? Maybe impossible. I don't know. But let's give this thing a shot. So I came out to Amanda. I was like, yo, I'm really stoked. What if we did this thing? What if we wrote with somebody, we spent a day, and we just record what we can? We do what we can. And we invite the viewer into the entire experience. So for us, we were supposed to be playing every night in front of 12,000 people for months. We're still supposed to be on tour now.
Yeah.
And those shows all got canceled or postponed to next year. And so there's this energy of being on the road and being in front of people and the risk. And I think the way we approach performing, we don't do a lot of things, we call it on rails, where everything's just plugged into the program and you're just going to sing it the same way every night, same songs every night.
Literally only when we have to be on and off stage at an exact time, which like for the tour we were on, there's an exact time you have to be on and an exact time you have to be off. And there's like maybe a couple seconds, But the way we like to perform is to just be like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. If it's not, her dad would always say, her dad was a songwriter, performer, brilliant, been doing it for a long time. He reminds us not often, he used to, that he had his first number one hit when he was 19. Bruce, he would tell us, if it's not alive, it's not live. And so there's this whole energy that you pour out night after night, live on stage. We go out into the crowd, which you can't do, and I don't know if we'll be able to ever do again. Go sing out in the crowd and go do all this stuff. There's all these risks and the reward of whether they applaud or they don't. I can spot the 3 people not paying attention easily. And sometimes I'll just perform just for that old guy right there, just for you, sir. Let me win you. And I'll talk to him, literally. They'll be like, sir, yeah, you. No, not you. You. Yeah, let's talk. So there's this whole interaction and sense of being alive that you lose for a performer, for everybody. Everybody loses it when you're quarantined. And so it was an opportunity for us to feel that sense of alive music again.
So you kind of started this as a lark, right? You didn't think maybe there'd be, it wouldn't end up being that big of a deal?
It was a complete shock where it ended up going. We started thinking we'd write little ditties. And the first person we talked to, Maddie Stanitsky from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Maddie Stanitsky from Atlanta, dating a guy named Christian, who at the time lived in San Antonio, Texas. And she just, hey, how you doing? Just quarantining, just, stay-at-home orders. Are there stay-at-home orders? Yeah, it's been really tough. Well, why has it been tough? Boom. My fiance lives in San Antonio. We were going to move to California. I teach, Maddie was telling us, I teach specialized students here in Georgia, so I didn't want to leave them until the last possible moment. I wanted to make sure I saw it through this school year, but now I'm not in the class with them. And it's a hard time to connect. My fiance was moving.
They're not fiancés yet.
They are now in real life.
Now they are for life.
My boyfriend, we were going to meet in LA.
It was because of the song. Now they're engaged.
We were going to meet in California and, plan the rest of our lives. He is military. He had moved off base, but couldn't fly into California because they had closed down. So he's stuck in a hotel room for the indefinitely in San Antonio, can't get to California. I can't get to him. He can't get to me.
All this stuff is in boxes.
And all we can do is wait. And the song took life with that. I would even say it took flight. It wasn't just, sometimes you sit here. Amanda and I have written countless songs together. And we'll sit, and as humans, there's all kinds of inspiration that happen, the stories you hear, your own life, the stories that evolve and are created through your own experience. And sometimes you sit to write and it's like, all right, I know we got an album to make. What are we going to write about? And you spend a lot of time trying to feel something. And I realized like this, writing with Maddie that day, we just skipped to like third base in songwriting because we had all the emotion we wanted was there. We both were on the same page. It had language to it already. And this song just kind of came tumbling out of us.
Don't know. There's nothing sure but you. And that makes it harder. All that we can do is wait.
What I love about this is how this isn't really something that you could have done without quarantine. You know, this is something you really needed a lockdown to do.
The wow factor for me of what I expected from Songs of Strangers to what we got doesn't just include the songs, all our super talented friends that donated their time to be a part of it. It includes what happened in me being a part of it. Our journeys are completely bespoke to us. You can't compare yours to someone else's because that's completely theirs. And yours is completely yours. And that thought was just so driven home even more doing Songs of Strangers because none of these songs would exist without the people we wrote them with. Could we have written a song that day? Yes. Would we have written those songs? Absolutely not. There's a 0% chance that we write Still Wonderful if it's not with Rebecca Gore. There's a 0% chance we write Wait without Maddie Stanitsky. There's a 0% chance of all those things. And it really got me so fired up with the importance of each of us. We are the singular expression of God himself on this planet. We are a singular expression of God himself on this planet. He don't do it again. He won't be like, all right, that was a cool Abner in 2020. We need to do another one. It's 3,219. Let's get another Abner in there, see if he can do it better. There's just not. There's us. We're all we have of us. And how special and unique this walk is, this life is. I'm better because of the strangers I met on Instagram Live.
Still wonderful. Still wonderful. Ain't it still wonderful? Somehow. Still wonderful. Still wonderful. Ain't it still wonderful? Somehow.
Can you talk a little bit about the new TV show you've got coming out? Can we talk about that?
We are super excited about it. It basically followed us on the road for 6 shows, I
Real
guess.
quick. So Chip and Joanna Gaines of Fixer Upper fame have started their own network called Magnolia Network. It's taking the place of the DIY network coming in 2021. And we were the first show that ever went into production. We were the first show that they signed, the first show that went into production for the new Magnolia Network, as you were saying.
Yeah, so they basically followed us on tour. Strangely enough, I found out right before we shot the very first part. So they started with just rehearsals before tour, capturing some rehearsals, and then they came to like one of the stops in that tour, and they followed us, later on in the summer. But I found out I was pregnant with our third right before we started filming. So it added a whole other twist to the season because I was not planning on getting pregnant, but I was actually trying hard not to get pregnant. So, so it kind of follows us on the road with me being pregnant and with us having 2 kids chasing us around, and kind of the different ways that tour takes shape and the kind of different shows that we have. It goes from like one of our shows, like, in a big room in Dallas to a festival to a tiny room, in East Hampton that we play acoustically just because we like to play shows at that venue. So it kind of follows us around quite a bit. We get hit by a hurricane at some point or almost get hit by a hurricane. Lots of fun stuff happens. We visit his hometown. But it's I think it's a good, like, little bite-sized taste of what it is like to schlep yourself and your family and your best friends on the road and work,
The TV show is our answer to the question we get all the time. How do you balance personal life and work life when you do it all together all at the same time?
And you say, you don't.
You don't. You really don't. And people don't understand that unless they see it. And so this TV show is our opportunity to show you what we mean.
What else do you got in the works? Anything else going on right now?
The ink ain't dry on this one yet, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I have not signed an NDA. We also have a second TV show coming out on the Magnolia Network called Bake It Till You Make It. It is, I don't know if you've seen on Instagram, we've been posting a lot of cooking stuff, especially me baking. And it is a show about an amateur baker choosing to try to make difficult things in the kitchen and trying until he either succeeds or gives up. And that's
all while his wife says, please clean that up.
Yeah. So it's me in the kitchen trying to make amazing
I need to make dinner.
Okay, I think I'm catching the vision. I've lived this experience a couple of times.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit sorry. Oh, just a little bit sorry. Yeah, I just hope you're a little bit sorry. A little bit sorry. Why you break my heart? I hope you're just a little sorry.
That was Johnnyswim. Make sure to check out their quarantine project, Songs with Strangers, wherever you get your music.
You're so shook when I get on fire. So surprised when I have an answer. Guess no one told you, now I told you. We're not living in a void. Ain't it weird when I'm thinking stuff?
You're listening to Transviolet. The song is Undo. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
What do you have, Jesse?
Hey, first, can I pitch you guys my Shark Tank idea?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
See if this will get me in the tank, get cubes on board. Here's it. Here's the idea. Because I told you guys I have trouble letting my wry sense of humor communicate accurately in face-to-face conversations because people can't read my mouth. You know,
because
I do most of my I do most
mask,
of my communication of my punchlines through expressions.
Right.
So they're called mood mask, right? And you keep like 6 on you at a time. I have angry face, I have smiley face, I have bemused, I have frowny and sad, and then I have standard. They're masks which have lips in different expressions on the outside, and you put
So you
them
have to
on
switch them?
to
But
reflect.
you can't
yes.
switch them in the middle of a conversation.
That's
You
how
say a
people
clever
get
line, I gotta
COVID.
get a
No.
mask out. No, what you need is a mood mask that is like a mood ring and will change color or
The
something
tech-
will display
listen,
differently
listen,
automatically.
We just don't have the technology. So I'm not saying this isn't
They
just
have
cumbersome.
connections
You're
on
like-
Shark Tank.
Yeah, you're like, hey, you can call my title, wait for it, and then Derek, you put on the mask. It's a
No, it
smile,
takes too long.
argumentative rapper, and it's like, oh, I see what you did, Derek. You got the smile that's perfectly. You guys aren't in for mood mask.
I'm not funding that.
Not 6 of them. No. Too
Not
much
if you
work.
have to keep 6 masks in your pocket.
You got to innovate. You got to come up with the technology where the fabric, almost like the hypercolor shirts from the 90s, where like you go out in the sun, they would change
I don't
color.
have time. I don't have time.
You got to
The
do that
market's
with
hot.
the mask fabric.
The market's
You know
hot
who
right
you need
now.
to call, Jesse?
Who's
you
that?
need to call that church member in Arizona. I bet they can come up with a mask.
I am willing to offer him 5% of my company for
How come
$8,500,000.
how come there's not a semi-translucent fabric that could filter?
I think
You know
it's
what I mean? Where you
fog.
can
I
kind
think
of
it's
still see
fog
the
up.
the mouth.
The fog factor.
Fog.
Fog factor, you know.
The worst part of having glasses is the fog factor. I'll tell you that. There is no mask made that prevents glasses fog.
I just want to
the
say
worst.
congratulations on all of you on losing out. By my calculations, for how much you would have made for that valuation,
Millions.
$30.
probably 10 to $12 million. So, but that's fine. That's fine. More for me in cubes. Okay. So here is my slice. It kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier. This is an initiative I fully and wholeheartedly support. There has been some discussions about the city of Columbus, Ohio. It has the city officials in that town have already vowed to take down a statue of Christopher Columbus, who is the namesake of the Midwestern town, because of his, legacy of essentially racial genocide.
I forget about stuff like that. Just Columbus, Ohio. I didn't associate that was Christopher Columbus. I thought it was like George Columbus was the first farmer to live there, sort of a thing.
Man, nah.
I mean, there's no, people can do some independent research if they want, but there's no other way to describe his legacy. He was a monster. He was pure. He was evil. So a citizen has put up a petition to get the the name of the city change from Columbus. And the petition's actually picking up quite a bit of steam. It already has over 75,000 signatures, and they want to get to 150,000 so that hopefully the city officials will take their request seriously. Does anybody know? Can anybody guess what this petition to change the name of Columbus, Ohio? Any guesses around the table?
I don't even want to guess, dog.
I mean,
Jamie?
Columbus, Ohio is a big mid-market city. I mean, the Ohio State University is based there. This would be a major thing if they changed their name.
Wolverine. They'll change it to Wolverine.
Jamie, you want to venture a guess?
So they have, hey, we want to change it, and here's our option.
Yeah, here's our option.
Okay.
Here's our option. And again, they have 75,000 people on board and growing by the day.
I feel like you should first petition just to get it changed before you throw in the name that you want it to change to.
But people need to know what they're advocating for.
Don't
just take some away.
Spartan, Ohio.
That would be dope.
What is it?
Buckeye, Ohio.
Flavortown.
Yeah.
No.
And here is why.
This is a voting
Flavortown.
Oh, let's go. I'm with it.
Here is why. Here, I'm reading from the change.org petition addressed to the mayor. Why not name the city Flavortown? Here's the petition. The new name is twofold. For one, it honors Central Ohio's proud heritage as a culinary crossroads and one of the nation's largest test markets for the food industry. Second, celebrity chef Celebrity, as they refer to him, Chef Celebrity Guy Fieri was born in Columbus, so naming the city in honor of him, he's such a good dude, really, would be superior to its current nomenclature. Change it to Flavortown. Flavortown, USA.
That's so gangster. It's going to be so many rappers out of Flavortown.
That sounds like an amusement park. Like you want to go to Flavortown.
Exactly. It's a beautiful day in Flavortown. Yeah, what's the weather like today in Flavortown? I do support changing the name. And if they went with something kind of fun as like a hat tips internet culture, I think that would be a cherry
This
on
is
top.
a Bodie McBoatface situation. Like, you can't ask the internet for a name suggestion.
Now, they didn't ask. They just said, well, this is what we want to change it to. And if 75,000 people have already said it, it's catching some momentum. I think they should. I'd be totally down for changing the name of Columbus. And if they go with something fun like Flavortown, it instantly becomes the coolest city in the world. Like, it would put it on the map of like, heard a lot of cool stuff's going on in Flavortown. They changed the name to Flavortown. It's got to be a pretty cool city. I mean, they gotta be pretty good natured up there. The city council, the municipal workers seem like they're pretty, clever, fun, self-aware people. Why not?
Fort Bragg. I saw that Fort Bragg, South Carolina is actually taking it. The city council is actually taking it up to consider changing the city's name because it was named after obviously a Confederate general. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far this shift in American society goes. I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
Great.
It's humongous.
But
It's
I mean,
great.
how many, I think I didn't even connect that Columbus was named after Christopher Columbus. Most American, at least East Coast cities are named after cities over in Europe or, England or whatever. New Jersey's named after Jersey.
And there's a lot of in different parts of the country, like Native American, there's, Chesapeake and, a lot of
my parents live in Seminole County for the Seminole Indians that were native here and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting. I mean, so how much of it is honoring the local heritage and then how much of it is honoring people that we don't want to honor any longer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the local paper here in Central Florida is advocating for Florida State to change their stadium name and for Florida to change their basketball arena name because they're racially insensitive or named after people that were not people you want to name things after. So it's being talked about, it seems like, in every city. So Flavortown it is. Let's do it.
Flavortown it is.
Love it. All right. What do you have, Jamie?
All right. I have a story that something happened a couple of weeks ago that kind of started this happening at Liberty University. Do you remember when the basketball player, Asia Todd, came out and said that she was going to transfer because of racial insensitivity at the leadership level? And now two football players, Tavion Land and Kytrell Clark, are also saying that they are transferring because of the same thing, racial insensitivity at the leadership level. And we know Liberty University, the president is Jerry Falwell Jr., who recently had some statements about a mask. There were a tweet used blackface and KKK imagery to make fun of Virginia Democratic Governor Ralph Northam. So these student athletes are standing up and saying, we don't want to be associated with this university anymore. And, also there was a petition that was signed by several former Liberty University graduates, some of them professional football players, saying, hey, something has to change because when I have that I graduated from Liberty University on my resume, people think things and you're not doing a good job for the university. And so I think Falwell tweeted out an apology, but these student athletes are saying, I'm not going to play here anymore. And I think that, the question, has been, I was talking with Tyler about it earlier today, just about, what's happening at Liberty on some levels is not new and it's not a surprise. And so why all of a sudden when we see these athletes, and I think personally, it's just, there's a kind of feeling in the air that this would not be looked down upon them for doing this. If this makes sense, it's like, this is a great time for you to stand up and say, I'm not going to play here because of what's happening. And I'm proud of them for making that choice. I would support all of my kids in making the same choice that they did.
Tyler and I were talking about this yesterday. I mean, probably for an hour, because I was like, here's my fundamental question. Because when it was one basketball player, she was a freshman. She was leaving her freshman year. These two football players, one of them was their highest recruit ever. I mean, their top recruit ever. So now it's getting notable and it's picking up steam and like, kind of like the people jumping off the ship, it's like, I'm just curious how far this is going to go. Number one. Number two, I was asking Tyler, I was like, did I miss a story or are there stories going around that I'm unaware of? Because the insensitivity of leadership of Falwell aligning so hard with Trump, taking, anti-immigrant stances and all the things that Trump advocates for, that's not new. Like you said, Jamie, she was a freshman. A year ago, Falwell was saying the exact same offensive stuff than now, So what happened?
But I mean, the social climate right now has really emboldened people to be able to stand up for, look, I mean, the other thing about Jerry Falwell, his Twitter bio says haters will be blocked. That alone, that's the behavior of the largest. What better message of the president of the largest Christian university? The first thing they see in his Twitter bio is haters will be blocked. Oh, that sounds like a real Christ-like qualifier for what I'm about to read. I mean, we've done this over the years. I mean, he uses his Twitter feed not only to instigate, to say and show in things that are inflammatory and racist. But I mean, there's no other way to say this. He is objectively a liar. Like we posted a story and this tweet is still up. And I actually contacted Liberty's PR department about this. He has a tweet that says, love this quote by Clint Eastwood. And this is the quote. This is a fact. Well, I don't even want to read it. It's something very inflammatory about immigrants to the country. The thing is, Clint Eastwood never said it. It is fabricated. The Falkirk Institute, his think tank, has tweeted numerous fabricated quotes that are attributed to people that never said them. We made him aware that, hey, this is a lie, and they keep it up. Yeah. Falkirk and Jerry Falwell are liars. There's no other way to say it. People who publicly lie are liars, and and he's unrepentant about it. Something
that Tyler said yesterday when I was trying to figure out yes, this societal advocacy has shifted. The tone has shifted. So now it's yeah. The other thing too is I was saying, because again, a year ago, he was everything you just referenced happened before she attended, right? And so it's why now? Okay, one thing that Tyler pointed out was, think about it. She was a high school kid, highly recruited. She visited this large, beautiful campus, probably had great athletic facilities, great coaches. You're in high school, you're not paying attention to the Twitter feed of Jerry Falwell Jr., right?
Right.
You're not necessarily paying attention to that side of the university. You're getting swept up in the opportunity to go play athletics at a major school. And so then you get there and all of a sudden the culture of the schools something you're inside every day, and you are aware of everything going on with the leadership that you weren't aware of before you attended, right?
Yeah.
And that to me was like, aha, that's the aha moment I had, that makes sense. I've been here a year, no more, you know?
Yeah.
And to the coaches and staff, none of these student athletes who have entered into the transfer portal and are leaving have said any negative things about their coaches. So I think that even Cameron is like you talked about, you're recruited by your coaches. Right. Jerry Falwell is not going to K-Terrell Clark's mom and talking to him. You know, the coaches are recruiting these families and these kids. And so it would be a little bit like you got there. There is a former online admission counselor who has left said about this, about Jerry Falwell. He said, your actions have shown you really don't care about the Black community, and that is sad. You can't say this is a Christian university, but then everything that comes out of your mouth is about Trump. And so I think, I mean, this could get me in trouble, and I by no means am comparing Jerry Falwell Jr. with Jeffrey Epstein.
Clark, prime the edit, because this is going to be the clip that we're going to promote for the show. Okay, go ahead, Jamie.
But what we're seeing is this power that someone has. It keeps people around them silent so that they don't lose their job, so that they don't go down with the flame. We've seen that in things that have come out with Jeffrey Epstein. And again, I'm not comparing. Don't say that about, you know, Jerry Falwell Jr. and Jeffrey Epstein. But what we are seeing is, wow, all of a sudden people are risking their jobs. They're quitting. They're transferring. And it comes with a cost because they're all of a sudden saying, hey, what we see here is not okay. And kudos to these people who are coming out and saying, because it's going to cost them something.
And we do want to say, Tyler and I talked about this yesterday. Like it is known that Liberty has actually some excellent faculty members and coaches, as you reference and stuff. There's some really good. I mean, you hear those stories of that dichotomy from even students and former students of like, hey, great professors that did not fit the mold of the public perception of the school, and they kind of like feel like outsiders on the inside, and there's a tension even in the culture of the school. But obviously, they don't have a platform the way that the president does.
Or they want to be a part of the change. I mean, I've been in situations before where you're like, I feel like I'm only here because I want to be a part. I want to see some change, and I want to love on these students. And so that, I mean, to give them full credit, the professors that are there and the coaches, that could be some of what they're coming from thinking.
Yeah, hopefully.
Derek, schools like Liberty, you know, bring in a lot of artists and things like, you know, and I've read some, you know, artists openly kind of be conflicted about whether, you know, about invitations to perform there. Is that something as an artist who, you know, plays to a lot of different types of audiences from different worldviews and some that are supported by different kinds of leaders? From your perspective as an artist, you know, and as a Black man in America right now,
argumentative
rapper, Jesse.
Right.
What do those conversations look like when there are invitations to perform at places that have, you know, these sort of, you know, complicated leadership structures, but you know, there are, you know, kind of people in the audience that probably need to hear your message. What's the thought process like for you sometimes, man?
Well, Liberty used to bring in a lot of guys, like a lot of rap guys early on for sure, but they kind of stopped. I mean, I remember it was one rapper, I won't bring him up, but he literally had an event there, but because he started speaking out, they were like, nah, you can't come. So I think even just Jerry has kind of put the stamp on like, yo, we don't want anyone here that isn't, you know, that's gonna butt against his perspective of white supremacy or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. Like for me, it sucks because I know some people that have gone to Liberty that love Liberty, and you know, it sucks to be like, man, I don't want to go to punish the students. You know, like I don't want to say I'm not going, and then the students miss out. But then at the same time, it's like, man, like, I don't know how I could rap at a school where the president had a blackface mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I could do that. It would be pretty dehumanizing. It's like, how much is it worth? You know what I mean? It's just, it's like, yo, hey, I'll do a show in your city. We just may not do it at Liberty. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of more the perspective for me. Just because I feel the same way. Like, man, if you're that insensitive and that much of a jerk, that even if you think it's a joke at the expense of Black people, like I'm cool. I'll pass on that. So yeah.
Did you ever have an experience at a Christian university where like it was just a conservative school and not like anything like what we're talking about with Falwell, but just like, they weren't allowed to dance or anything like that. And so like just stylistically, it was a conflict. Did you ever experience that, or is it not like that anymore?
Nah. Well, the thing is, when I would do stuff at like, not as colleges are usually like, they're going crazy. It's usually if you do something at like a church that's had this really conservative stance, that's when it gets super duper weird. But usually the college kids are just happy to have something. They're just like, yo, let's go.
I'm going to date myself. So I was at Oral Roberts University in the 90s, right? So we had a student association, had a concert night on campus in the big chapel auditorium, and Out of Eden came. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're at an Out of Eden show, and ORU had an very racially diverse student body, and so we're at the Out of Eden show, and I'm telling you, we're not allowed to dance or anything at ORU at the time. Okay, you had to wear a dress code. We had to wear ties to class. Girls had to wear skirts. It was very conservative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's not like that anymore, but it was. Dude, we were at the Out of Eden show. There were about 4 songs into it, and crowds up at the front, crowds moving. We're having a great time. And school administration came and shut down the concert because people were dancing. I was like, oh, okay. It was like, I've never seen that before. So I was wondering if you've ever experienced that. But churches make sense, like conservative churches.
It's crazy. I'm like, why did you bring me to this church? Like sometimes I'm like,
you know my music, right?
It's like, you know what I do, but I'm
an argumentative rapper.
Right.
Why are you?
The church has made me become the argumentative rapper. Actually,
it's usually like the youth pastor brought you in, and then the head pastor gets there and like, what are you doing over here?
That's what
the kids are just confused. They're just like, so can I dance? Because I really listen to the baby. You know what I'm saying? Right. But they're like, I don't want my youth pastor to know I listen to Young Thug and the Baby. So it's kind of like in between. Yeah.
All right. What do you have, Derek?
This one is kind of really near and dear to my heart. My grandparents are from Mississippi. So my grandfather's from a small town in Mississippi called Utica, Mississippi. And the Mississippi Baptist Convention, which is a part of the Southern Baptist Convention, is calling for a change to the flag. So if you don't know about the Mississippi flag, it has a Confederate flag in the actual flag, the state flag. So I think that's pretty cool. And it really shows a little progress. I know I was really hard on Southern Baptists a couple episodes ago. And to think that, Mississippi Baptist Convention would be leading the charge for that, I think that's dope. I think that's a great step in her, and that's what we want to see. You know what I mean? Yeah,
we posted this on Instagram on Tuesday, and it showed the flag. And it's so funny for people who don't know, Mississippi is the last state to have a Confederate symbol on their flag.
Oh yeah.
And they're the rebels, and they just, and so this is a big part of the state's heritage, and it's a big issue down there. But most people don't realize it. When we showed the flag on Instagram, 90% of the comments were like, "That exists? Like, how is that even allowed?" For real. But you're right. The surprising thing was that the Baptist leadership were calling for the change. Normally, the conservative church doesn't speak up about these things. And their quote, the executive director's quote said, "This isn't a political move on our part. This is because this is what Jesus would do." And it was like, this is about a Jesus teaching. And good for them for saying something, standing up. And that's what I love about what's going on right now is like, there are people who are surprising me in the church, and it's like, good, let's keep that going, and good will overcome evil, so good for Mississippi. Hopefully it takes, hopefully they do change it.
I was thinking earlier when we were talking about white Jesus is that I think it would be really cool if we saw churches make the first move and churches say, hey, we're now aware and educated, and so we're going to be proactive to changing things within our body. And then we see this story come out this week about the proactiveness from the Mississippi Baptist Convention. And I thought, that's what I want to see more of, is not people having to be on the defense. Like, okay, church, you got to do something. Like, you got to show up and do something. And then they're having to be all defensive. And what are we going to say? And how are we going to handle this? But this offense, this proactive stuff, I love it because it's saying, hey, we are here and we're in this fight and we don't think this is okay. And we need to hear that from organizations within the church.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that'll do it for
Slices.
Stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback, your prank stories.
I'm so
listening to Andrew Apple Pie. Apple Pie, Ohio. That's what they should do. Apple Pie.
You could even if a city is just named, something like non-problematic, even if they just have like a boring name, change it to Apple Pie sounds pretty great to me.
Who doesn't want to go
Where are
there?
you from? Apple Pie. Andrew Apple Pie. The song is "I'm So." Okay, I gotta be honest. The first song and this song, I stole from the Dickinson soundtrack. I don't know if y'all have seen this show on Apple TV Plus, but Haley Steinfeld stars in a 10-episode series called Dickinson. It's the story of Emily Dickinson and in the mid 1800s, right? And it is the coolest show. It is like done in the period style, but as if they were modern people. It's crazy. And the music soundtrack is the dopest soundtrack I've ever heard on a show ever. And I actually would say go watch Dickinson. I had no interest in Emily Dickinson, but just for the soundtrack and how cool it is, I've never seen anything like it before. Go watch it. I've been binging a lot of shows.
I'm not gonna lie.
Clearly.
I forgot about Apple TV Plus. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. I forgot about that.
Hey, Apple TV Plus, I'll tell you this, they don't have a ton of stuff, but what they put out, hit. I mean, I'm telling you, like, for quality over quantity is their strategy, and it's working. So go check out Apple TV Plus. They didn't pay for that. Okay, it's time for your feedback. It's time for your feedback. 2 weeks ago, we got talking about pranks. Something happened in the show that made us talk about pranks, and we ended up asking you guys for your best prank stories. You messaged us on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, and you hit us up you slid into our DMs on Instagram and told us your stories there as well. Relevant Magazine. Here are a few of our favorites.
Brooke has a next level brother because Brooke's brother was only 10 years old when he hatched this little scheme. He went to our local Dunkin' Donuts, and I guess outside the drive-thru there, and put up a sign outside on the big menu that said, "Our speaker is broken. Please yell your order as loud as you can." Dude, 10 years old.
He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT.
He should just retire from Frankie at that point.
Great.
He like, it would have been like if Jordan
no victims.
It was like funny. It was like Jordan didn't come back after the baseball thing, and he just like walked away, still in his prime. That's what that kid should do. Just walk away, kid. Don't get those 3 more rings. You don't need them. Your legacy is sealed, friend. Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, so Caleb said this, and I actually saw this on Twitter and thought I was going to throw up. Okay, so these are his words. Okay, this is so awful. He said, "So if you take an oatmeal cream pie and smash it and roll it up, it looks like a turd," which I hate saying that word anyway. So we were going to play a prank on the weird kid at camp.
That's going to be the clip for the promoting the show. It's Jamie Ivey saying the word turd.
Turd over and over again. You know the type who would freak out. So we did this and put it on his pillow. Then my friends.
Oh, man.
Then my friends, I am so grossed out. Then my friends, unknowingly to me, I can't even believe I'm going to put this on the air, picked butt hair, wiped his butt with toilet paper, and wiped it on the oatmeal cream pie.
Oh.
Okay. It smelled terrible. Then they even sprinkled water on it to make it look wet. The kid walks in and is disgusted. And I come in and say, "Hey guys, look, it's fake," and take a giant bite out of it. Then they tell me what they did. And I brushed my teeth for an hour. Y'all, I thought I was going to throw up.
A twist. It's like the scene
That's a Shyamalan twist. It's dead the whole time.
It's like the scene in Caddyshack if it wasn't actually a baby Ruth that they pulled out of the swimming pool.
The prankster got pranked. And that is the most disgusting thing I've seen all week.
Oh, that's scary.
We're done. We're done here, guys.
We used to like the top floor in our dorms, like every other floor had like regular ceilings, but the top floor had like tile ceilings in rooms. And you could actually crawl from room to room in the ceilings, but we would like position alarm.
You mean like ceiling tiles, not like tile
exactly.
ceilings?
With like the
so
big
you could
ceiling
lift
tiles.
the ceiling tiles and crawl. Okay, got you.
But we would occasionally sneak over to someone else's room, but we kind of knew roughly the position. We would put alarm clocks up there, set at really weird times. So in the middle of the night, their alarm starts going off right right above their head, and they're like reaching in the roof all freaking out. One time we put like 3, and they were going off at different times. And the last one we covered in peanut butter. So the person's finally getting back up at 4:30, like, I can't stand it. Reaches up there, reaching for it, and just goes, and you just hear screaming. And you're like, yeah, the diabolical laugh from the room next door. This one is messed up. Like, this one isn't even funny, and the only reason I'm reading it is because I'm impressed that like that an adult human would do something like this. This is prank story from Josh. The worst prank ever. When my sisters and I were little, my aunt was babysitting us, and she told this elaborate story about how she was our real mother, and the woman who we thought was our mother, her sister, just adopted us for legal reasons. This news, of course, shook my sisters and I to the core. For the span of the next few hours, we grappled with everything we ever believed. And then right before my mom got home, my aunt was like, JK, it was awful and brilliant. I agree it was awful, but who would do that to a child?
Can I give a little public service announcement? PSA, it ain't funny to joke about being adopted. I got 3 kids, and those kind of jokes are not funny. So, Josh, you can tell your aunt that that's what I said.
Yeah, please, because your aunt sounds like a sociopath to me, Jamie.
But it's like, you know, when you were little, like somebody like, oh, you're probably adopted. Like those jokes, they're actually not funny. Yeah. So there's my 2 cents on that, Josh and Aunt Becky.
Boom. We need to get her on. You can tell her, Jamie. I'm going to find her.
Can I tell y'all what I did once?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not like Jesse. You seem like, well, I know this. You're a prankster. Like you could do all kinds of things. I've only really pulled one prank in my entire life, and I'm actually really proud of it. So I'm 4 years older than my brother. Okay. And so when he was in high school, I'm in college, and I was living at home at the time. And listen, we're all grown adults here. We all know women. We all know that women have what we call periods. Okay. So don't be weird by what I'm saying. But when you buy a box of tampons, you guys might not know this. In every single one, there's like instruction manual, right? Like as if we don't know how to do this now, right? So, but every box. I took that piece of paper, opened it up all the way. So it's like, here's how to use it. I put it in the top of my brother's backpack. And so when he got to school, he's a high school boy, and he opens it up, and there is the instruction manual from a box of tampons. It's the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. We still joke about it. And he was so embarrassed.
You are cruel.
I had an idea for a weird prank, and this only works if you're going to move out of the neighborhood soon. Right? And you don't really care. Most of yours
entail I need to leave the area immediately after. Yeah.
So here's the idea: is like I set an alarm real low, so it's not. There's no way anyone outside to hear it, but at a real odd time every night, like 3:34 a.m. Right? Yeah. And every night I wake up and I just let out a blood-curdling scream the same time every night, right? And then one day as neighbors are out, I sprint out of my house in a bathrobe and just run down the street, run away with my door wide open, and I don't return for 3 days. Like that's all. I just want them to be like, what is happening there? Like just psychological. Like that's the kind of like the ring the doorbell and run. That's all fun, but I want them to really be curious about what is transpiring over at this household.
Why are you like this?
Jesse, this is so awful.
You like this?
I mean, why not?
Why not? Oh, absolutely.
Hey, right. I will say this: boredom. It's a lot of boredom. Just Well,
you act like my prank is the worst. That is awful.
That's good.
There's a lot more stories. Well, I guess you can't really go read our Instagram direct messages. So, you'll just have to take our word for it. There's a lot more stories. Okay, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week.
Okay, well, earlier in the show, we got talking about Columbus, Ohio, and how it should be named Flavortown. It got us thinking about other things that should be renamed. Maybe it's cities or maybe other things in our culture that should be renamed. I'm thinking that this question of the week, that we want to hear from you is a constructive one, that you guys can actually look at your areas and go, you know what, here we should do this and not that kind of thing. But off mic, when we were choosing this question of the week, the cast completely decided that no, this should not be serious at all. It should all be Flavortown-esque. So yeah, hit us up and tell us
either or.
Yeah. Either or.
It's your world.
Tell us
your
your
world.
suggestions for other cities or things, big things that should be renamed to make us a better society. More Flavor Towns is what we're saying. Hit us up on Instagram at Relevant Magazine. You can hit us up in our direct messages there, or you can reply to us on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, and we will read our favorites next week. All right. Well, many thanks to Johnnyswim for joining us. You can follow them on Instagram at Johnnyswim. You can also check out their Songs with Strangers project wherever you get your music. It's really cool. Hey, and if you want to subscribe to cable, check out the new Magnolia channel that'll be launching this fall, and they're going to have 2 shows on it, which is really cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Very cool. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
I'm Derek Miner.
We will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, check out our Relevant Podcast Network, featuring shows like Relevant Daily, Signs of Life, Unedited, and many more launching throughout the year.
Zip. You see that? He just got some COVID right out of there. Just zapped it up.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.